Good morning. Good morning. It is Phil Brilliant. It is Friday, November 21st, believe it or not. This is Simply Brilliant, and I'm glad that you are joining me this morning. And I apologize if my voice is a little scratchy or I still look a little tired. It's been one of those weeks of nonstop, which I look a little short today. Let's pick my hair up a little. There we go. Um, but last night I got home a little late, and that was after a few days at the New Jersey League of Municipalities. Talk about last night first. So last night I had the pleasure at the Jersey Shore Chamber of Commerce, which is not a chamber that I'm actually a member of, but they do a phenomenal job. Um, and I think if you had to pick a chamber of commerce and you didn't pick the Greater Toms River Chamber of Commerce, the Jersey Shore Chamber of Commerce is the one you probably would pick. They do a good job promoting their members. And last night was their 40th annual Golden Osprey Award. And I had the pleasure of introducing award winner for the American Dream Award, my good friend Adam Puharich of Puharich Insurance. And the American Dream Award. And I made some notes and I what I really realized was that, probably, hearing it from me was okay. But so Adam's son, Grant, is a West Point graduate of 2025 and is currently stationed at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, with his wife Gianna. They got married in August. And basically training, learning to continue to protect this promised land that we have of America. And so what Grant helped me do was some of his alum friends from West Point, about five of them got together and gave me statements of why Adam has impacted their life while they were at West Point and beyond. And, you know, I love bringing tears to people's eyes. And Adam, of course, was all choked up. It worked out, surprised him, and it was good. And again, American Dream. You're talking about a guy whose parents came from Croatia to America with $50 in their pocket, and because they wanted their kids to have a a good opportunity at life, and they have. And Adam told a good story. Adam is a great spokesperson and definitely lives the mantra of God, family, country every day, and I'm glad to have him as a friend, and was totally touched to be able to introduce him last night. But also gave me the opportunity to see people I hadn't seen in years. One of the other people who was honored last night was Diana Moore, and it's funny. I remember Diana was a kid with the Ocean County Board of Realtors affiliate committee, and when we started doing events and programs, it's back in the early 2000s, but that I go back to 1994 with that group. And it made me realize last night, because I missed on Wednesday night the Greater Toms River Chamber of Commerce awards dinner, and that I joined the Greater Toms River Chamber of Commerce when it was the Toms River Ocean County Chamber of Commerce back in 1993, when I joined environmental evaluation group in Tom's River. And, my partners were Bob Ramo, John Keenan, and George Lissenden, John Ernst, and Jack Mallon, names that people know here in Ocean County. And that was 1993. So that's like 32 years ago. I still think I'm only 30 years old, so I'm not sure how that could all be. But it made me realize I've really been around in Ocean County a long time. And it made me think back. So November 15th of 2005, so 20 years ago, I established Brilliant Lewis Environmental Services from the closet of my apartment in downtown Toms River on the waterfront. Um, Riverwood, I can't think of the name of the right next to Spinnaker's Cove. I had an apartment there, and that was where Brilliant Lewis started. I had a partner at the time, and he left in 2010, and I've been just brilliant ever since. La la la. And but that's 20 years. I marked the 20 years on January 1st because that's really when we opened the doors. And but it's funny, I was thinking about it, and 20 years is a huge milestone. And we talk about resiliency, we talk about what we do as small business owners. Um, you know, 20 years has had its ups and its downs. And like to think that I'm still on my way up right now, and excited to celebrate 20 years. I think I have a great staff right now. It's a very small staff, but we do a lot of work. And you know, I'm as transparent as I try to be. 2019, I filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which forced me into personal Chapter 13 bankruptcy. I have battled my way and had both discharged, and worked through it. And there are some people who are still not happy with me because they didn't get their full money that was owed to them. But I had a couple choices, and you know, I had to do what was right, for the company, and do what was right for myself to be able to make sure that we got to that 20th anniversary. And every day is a challenge, and every day I fight forward. So, I'm happy. I was very, enjoyed the event last night, and I wish Adam the best of everything that the world always has for him and all those people at the event last night. So that was why I'm a little tired today. But the night before, I was down at the New Jersey League of Municipalities trade show I've gone to for decades. Uh, Used to exhibit there all the time, had a booth, sat there for 3 days, handed out tchotchkes. That's why I have my little tchotchke here with my stress ball. I got a bunch of them on my desk. I've kind of the past few years just gone to let's walk the floor, let's meet all the vendors. Let's see if who we can do work with. Let's kiss some babies, see some politicians, see people I haven't seen in years, rekindle relationships, and then go to the parties all night. But I can only do one night of parties. These people who do 2 nights of parties or 3 nights of parties, aside from the fact how your liver can get through it, I'm not sure I can go that long without sleep. It was a late night. I want to say like 12, 1 o'clock, uh, and then up and back in the office the next morning. But it was good to connect, and actually had a lot of opportunities to connect with. I spoke to the commissioner of DEP for a while, Sean LaTourette, talking about what's going on relative to the LSRP program, which I'm a licensed professional, but also talking about what's going on here in Tom's River. He's engaged in different aspects of the Tom's River situation. Let it be Ciba-Geigy, let it be what's going on with the Clifton Avenue Park. And when I say engaged, when municipalities have issues, it gets elevated up to the seventh floor at DEP. And so we talked about that. Got to meet the governor-elect, Mikey Sherrill, as she walked the floor, and also came to the New Jersey LCV hospitality. And we'll see as her cabinet starts coming together. That'll be the defining moment in the early days of her governorship. I think we've seen here in Tom's River a failure, whether it be the Attorney General's office, whether it be the Department of Community Affairs. Um, we're seeing action now, possibly, but we've sent complaint after complaint after complaint throughout what's happened the past 2 years in Tom's River. And I wanted to jump real quick. And so it was a good event program. Met a lot of people, talked to a lot of people about the recall here in Tom's River. People know what's happening here in Tom's River. Ran into a lot of people who were born and raised in Tom's River and moved on throughout New Jersey and are just disgusted about what they hear and see in their what they still consider their hometown. And so in the recall process and talking, one of the things, excuse me, I apologize, that continues to come back and creep up, and I'm going to share with you. And I know every time I do this, I say I hate doing this and I shouldn't do this, but I do it because it makes a point at times. So I'm going to share with you. Hopefully, y'all can see that. So this is the website Recall Daniel Rodrick. If you haven't gone there, you should. And it is, as you can tell right here, it is recalldanielrodrick.com. Pretty easy to remember. This is the website that we have put together and that we use as kind of our home base. And there's the clock. So 65 days left to collect 18,464 signatures. We'll have a head count. We'll have a signature count on December 1st. We do it the first of every month and see where we are. Um, Rumors, uh, people telling me that where they are signature wise, people dropping off petitions, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 8,000, maybe a little more. So we have our work cut out for us. But again, everybody said the same thing to me, everybody I talked to, that this statute is not made for you to succeed. It's made for you to fail. Um, you're talking about 25% of the population needs to sign the petition just to get a recall election. We had about 30, I think it's like 36,000 people vote on election day, this past election day. You know, um, we need 18. So we need like 50% of the people who voted to come out and sign the petition. you know. So it's a tough, big number. But one of the questions that keeps coming up, and I'm going to go. So if you look here on the top, 10 reasons for recall. And people are like, why are you recalling the mayor? What has he really done there in Tom's River? And what are the concerns and the outcry of the residents? We could play this video again, which is him driving up the Garden State Parkway in the Toms River Township vehicle, which is against the municipal code, and to his job in Irvington, New Jersey, which is controversial because now he has sued Middletown Township, and the lawsuit, says he's still employed by Middletown. But if you're employed by Middletown, how did you take a job in Irvington? And I've put this up on social media on his application for Irvington. He says he left Middletown Township. What's the truth? Somebody will decide. I'll ask the Eagle later. Maybe I'll get an answer. But this hasn't been updated in a while, but this is just what was put up there probably about 3 to 4 months ago, maybe a little longer. You know, he has fought against the JBJ Soul Kitchen being in downtown Toms River in the Ocean County Library, which he has no jurisdiction over. And he has fought the JBJ and basically saying that that brings in the homeless people. No, the homeless people are here. People who can't find homes are here in Toms River. They are throughout Ocean County. And I could spend probably hours talking about the fact that we don't do enough to really provide housing to people who need housing, let it be temporary or long term. But at the same time, we don't have affordable housing here in Toms River. It's a very difficult situation to handle. I know there was an article in the Esbury Park Press earlier this week. My friend, who I really do admire, Terrence Turnback, he is a attorney here in Toms River. It's an article about a client, Adolf, who basically is getting arrested so that he has a warm place to stay at night. We're failing society if that's really what people need to do to get a warm bed and possibly a good meal. Um, you know, you want to make the statement, you want to make the argument, well, they should find a job on their own, they should find a place to live. Sometimes it's not easy. And sometimes you're one paycheck away from that sidewalk sleeping bag, especially in today's society. You know, you want to talk about healthcare coverage if you get sick. You want to talk about insurance for just if you need a car, or you want to basically be able to provide healthcare insurance for your family if you have a family, if you're single, just food. I mean, food costs here are astronomical. So the fact that our mayor here in Toms River had no answer when he cleared out the woods, had no answer when people were sleeping in the parking deck, he just basically criminalizes everybody. He's done that to nonprofits, whether it be JBJ Soul Kitchen or Just Believe, when he kicked them out of the Riverwood Center and then told them, do not come back, don't provide transportation, don't provide assistance. And it's out there, cease and desist letters, yelling. You've seen it all. It's disgusting. That's not who we are as Toms River. Basically he's spent money and never come to the council, whether it be movies, concerts, fireworks. Basically he sold people in a bag of goods by putting up fake uh, salaries early on in 2024 about the leadership of the Toms River Police Department. And I'm going to take $300,000 there and go move it into EMS so I can have EMS coverage on the Barrier Island every day. If you live on the Barrier Island, do you have coverage every day? No, you don't. We don't even have coverage here in Toms River every day on the mainland because you see outside rigs in our town responding to accidents. Okay. Mass firings, mass replacements of staff. And you know what? Not going to argue the fact when a new regime comes in, a new administration, you replace the old and bring in the new. You bring in your people. Okay. But there is nobody working in town hall. And the people who are deserve a medal because they're working in a stressful environment and they're working harder because there's less people there to get things done. This is a township of 100,000 people. Okay. And he doesn't know how to manage that. And he surrounds himself by people who are strictly political operatives who are about campaigning, not about running a government. Okay, public safety. We talked about the police department. We talked about the lack of EMS. You know, we have, Councilwoman O'Toole calling for an ambulance that she says took 20 minutes to get there. The guy could have died by the time it got there. Not a good impression. But that's a problem here every day in Toms River, not handled. We still do not have new hires at the Toms River Police Department. That's a problem. Okay. Rental changes on how you rent. No inspections on rentals. All they do is inspect the fire. Forget about the fact of what the properties look like. I drive by every day. This car is parked on people's front lawn. There's 100 cars in front of a house and people coming in and out. That needs to change. And hopefully it'll change come January 1st. Hiring practices, we can go through the list of people he's hired who are his friends, his family. Harry Aber's son gets hired because he ends up running. Matarazzo's husband gets hired because she runs for Board of Ed and works in town hall. When you have a small cluster of friends, you get them all jobs. He had ran on the platform, I'm getting rid of downtown development, getting rid of downtown development. He didn't get rid of downtown development. He sent it to the courts. And he has blinded people on the fact of all the development in North Dover part of Toms River. Drive through North Dover and see the trees being removed and seeing the houses and buildings going up. He's done nothing for development except to diverted your attention to one project when there's 100 other projects going on. Okay. We could talk. I don't even have on this list what's going on in the Clifton Avenue Park with the asbestos debacle and the fact that he exposed public works to asbestos contamination and ground it up into the ground to leave on site for someone to build a park. Thank God the state is investigating in the county. Criminalize the homeless, we talked about, and the eminent domain. He attempts to take a church. And now we'll see what ends up happening with the eminent domain on Boatworks. But this is the website, and I recommend you go to it because one, it has information that answers those questions. Two, it always has an updated petition signing location. So this weekend, you will see that there are 4 opportunities on Saturday, which is tomorrow, by the way. And tomorrow, okay, is November 22nd. So that makes it, what is that? That's 52 years. If I did my math right, was that 62 years? I might need a calculator here. 62 years since John F. Kennedy was shot. Wow. But that's tomorrow. 3 to 5 in the neighborhoods, there will be petition signing. So we always have people walking door to door and we do our best. But a lot of times there's not people aren't home. People don't sit at home as much as they used to. But we're going to be in 3 different neighborhoods. So the corner of Shenandoah Boulevard and Cedar Grove Road, that's in the Georgetown section. Vaughn Avenue and Culpeper Drive, okay? And then Point of Woods Drive and Washington Street, so downtown Toms River. And, again, what you're going to see is you'll see somebody in a car most probably or with a table. Look for the Dump Dan flag that'll be flying or a sign. And as you drive by, you can stop, sign, and drive off. Meet, greet, and sign. You won't even need to leave your car. Fill your car with registered voters, and we want to get your signatures. And then on Sunday, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the corner of Hadley and Hooper Avenue, downtown Toms River, I think just south of St. Joe's Church. There'll be another opportunity to sign. We will keep these going as we march on to January 25th and 18,464 signatures. This is the place to go, recalldanielrodrick.com, to get more information on a daily basis. I will close. This weekend, Rutgers football plays Ohio State University in Ohio State, the number one team in the country, probably with the Heisman Trophy winner. And Rutgers is a 32-point underdog, by the way. That is five, almost, no, that's six, right? Yeah, no, five, almost six touchdown underdog is Rutgers. I just hope that they come out healthy because next weekend, Thanksgiving weekend, we got Penn State. I'll be there. Looking forward to that. Phil Brilliant, simply brilliant. Have a fantastic weekend. Thank you for bearing with me this morning as I talked a lot about Recall of Daniel Rodrick because we really need to push forward and we can make history in Toms River by recalling Daniel Rodrick. Have a great weekend. Take care.